A lot of men like to claim that dating is a lot easier for women, and I think that couldn't be further from the truth. I think what men really mean to say is it's a lot easier for a woman to get laid or to grab the opposite attention. But when it comes to dating, like actually dating and trying to pursue a relationship with someone, women have just as difficult of a time. While women might be faced with more options, the reality is those options have very different intentions.
You're not just wrong, you're stupid. Now wait just a minute. And you're ugly, just like your mum.
I hate to break it to you, sister, but when we say that you have it easier when it comes to dating, it means that you have it easier when it comes to dating. You can't blame us for constantly choosing the men that want to have fun with your stinky grease trap of never-ending remorse. Hell, I would argue that the majority of the men out there that actually wanted to legitimately date you are the very same men that you ignored back when you actually had some value on the dating market. That's not our fault. There's no way you can spin this. When it comes to dating, modern women straight up either ignore or assume that 95% of the male population are creepy, ugly, bedroom fun-obsessed incels who are broke, dusty, and unwilling to do the bare minimum. And you constantly make exceptions for the men who will willingly sleep with you. And I don't see how it could possibly be our fault that you keep choosing the wrong men, especially when we're too busy minding our own business while you're off making all of the mistakes.
Many women go out into the world of dating with the hopes of finding a true connection and a partnership, but all they get in return are a lot of people who just want to fuck around. It's really exhausting to keep putting yourself out there and thinking that you're creating a genuine emotional connection with someone, and really, it's just one-sided. I think it's just as hard for women as it is for men. It's just difficult in a very different way.
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong.
Alrighty, sweetheart. You know, I don't normally do this, but I'm gonna do you a solid and make this as simple as possible because you seem kinda simple. You keep going out with the Foxtrot boys because you want the man who looks like a Foxtrot boy, has the bankroll of a Foxtrot boy, but the attitude of a Disney prince. In short, you have options and average men don't. But when you have all of the options that you have, you will always gamble for the highest payoff despite the odds being stacked against you. And you just lowered those odds drastically by refusing to recognize the average man's struggles when it comes to dating. By openly admitting that you think you actually have a snowball's chance in hell in changing the Wolf of Chad Street into becoming a one-woman man, all you've done is prove that you're not worth a damn and we shouldn't be wasting our time. So I think we should give this woman the recognition she deserves for openly opting herself out of the world's dating market. So here's to you, Toots.
Woo! Hey! Hey!
Bessie, this is some big sister dating advice that I wish someone told me sooner, and I promise you need to hear this, so listen up. You will literally never be too much for the right person. The idea of this literally breaks my heart, because I remember dating guys and thinking that I had to change myself, or I had to tone myself down, or I was too much for them. But here's the thing. The wrong person will always make you feel like you're asking for too much, like you are too much. You need to calm down, you need to chill out. If you're starting to feel like that, that is 100% a sign that you are with the wrong person. You never have to change. It's never about you. Because the right person is gonna love all these little things about you, and everything that makes you too much to somebody makes you the perfect person to someone else.
Are you sure?
Ethel, darling, your justification for not having to cut your crippling caffeine addiction is kinda silly. You're refusing to accept that relationships require compromise and adapting yourself to the sensibilities of the other person. Now I can tell you, self-respecting men don't want a woman whose resting heart rate is 2,000 beats per minute. It's erratic, stressful, and just not healthy. Nobody is saying that you can't be a little quirky and silly, but when you require a bottle of no-dose just to be able to wake up in the morning, we are not talking about quirks. We're talking about someone who's constantly going to be compromising a man's peace. And that won't work for a self-respecting man. There is no shame in chilling out a little bit. And if you don't want to, then the man you're with will come up with any excuse he can to dump you. And that includes him leaving you because he inherited a hot sandwich shop in Paramus, New Jersey. He'll do that if it means never having to talk to you again. Hell, I barely know you and I'm already thinking about moving to New Jersey to avoid you. And yes, Ethel, that is intended to be an insult. No offense to any New Jersey devils out there, but come on, you know I'm right.
If someone doesn't see your little quirks as like the most adorable thing in the world, they're not your person, okay? It just makes me so sad because I remember feeling like I had to be more quiet and tone myself down and be more chill just to please whoever I was dating. I just want you to know this, bestie boo, it is never a you problem. So don't feel like you have to change, and don't go around and feel bad about yourself. Don't let someone you're dating make you feel bad about yourself. You're perfect the way you are, and if they don't see that, run, because you're perfect. You don't need to be with anyone anyway, okay? We love ourselves around here. I love you, bestie boo. Mwah.
That's not my problem. It's yours.
All right, let me see if I can get this straight, Ethel. You're implying that you don't have to change for anyone, and it's the men who must turn around and change in order to accommodate your idiosyncrasies. But here's my question. Why? Why in the hell should they? What makes you so perfect? You're loud, manic, and you speak faster than auctioneers, except with less clarity and entertainment value. Most men want a woman who's peaceful, and there is nothing wrong with that. In order for a relationship to work, both parties need to adapt to accommodate the other needs of the person. That is how they work. And if you're not willing to adapt in any way, shape, and form, all you're telling men is that what you bring to the table are headaches, chaos, and impulse control issues, which in itself is just a minefield of stress and frustration. So why should that man bother? You are no prize pig, Ethel, and you have no problem insulting men while you proudly proclaim that you are unilaterally undesirable with no real plan on how that will actually benefit you in the end. It's a bold plan, Ethel. Stupid, foolish, and doomed to fail, but bold nonetheless.
Good luck.
If you actually want to meet the one, stop focusing on the fact that you haven't met them yet and fixating on when they're going to come into your life, if they're ever going to come into your life, talking about how hard dating is, thinking about how single you are and how much better life would be if you had someone in it with you. Guess what? That energy keeps you in a state of lack, and it actually, ironically, repels the one a lot more than if you start focusing on all the things you do have, the friends you have, the life that you've created, the life that you are creating, showing yourself the love that you want to receive, and becoming the best version of yourself and doing the things you want to do before you die. That's going to make you a magnet for the one, because other people are going to see you and they're going to be like, damn, I want to be in that person's life. And that is how you're going to meet the one a lot quicker. Follow for more dating advice, and good luck.
Great plan.
Thank you.
He likes your plan, Chief.
Hey lady, I honestly don't see how rampant self-indulgence is going to get the attention of the anomaly within the Matrix. I mean, don't get me wrong, if that was the case, I'd be doing the polar opposite. Have you even seen the Matrix? When you get unplugged, you wear rags, eat tasteless meal slop, and you're forced to re-enter that program to do all sorts of life-threatening work while wearing an uncomfortable amount of leather. Don't get me wrong. A self-respecting man will go to strange lengths to get themselves a kick-ass leather duster, but even then, there's some things we aren't willing to do, and that includes messing with mirrors and hanging out with Carrie Ann Moss. But I can see why you'd be obsessed. Most modern women find leather clothing to be an extension of their personality, which kind of makes sense when you think about it. It's uncomfortable, sweaty, and chafes in all of the wrong places. So maybe it's a good idea you do all of those stupid things to find Neo. You do that. We'll be over here playing Chrono Trigger and jamming out to some Husker Du. Good luck to you, sweetheart. Don't forget to follow the White Rabbit.
What do you think I am? Human?
How can you tell if you're dating a misogynist or someone who actually likes women? I know that that's a really layered thought and question, but I think as far as my experience, there's one green flag that I look for that is probably a hot take. Does he have close friendships and good relationships with other women? This includes his family and other women that he's related to. That's not necessarily an across-the-board metric, but it is a metric. I think that there should be some platonic, non-related women that he is just friends with. I'm currently dating a guy who's best friends with his ex-wife.
Woman, that is not a good thing. If a man is still friends with his ex in any capacity, that makes you a bed-warming placeholder. Nothing more and potentially less. He might not actually need you for the placeholding. There are always exceptions to the rule, but if you're perfectly fine with this man being best friends with his ex-wife, then at that point, you're only asking for trouble, and that's what you're going to get. You're pretty much deserving of it at that point. The only reason why you even pretend to be okay with it is because you are so painfully broken and desperate that you're willing to ignore anything that doesn't pass the smell test. And you use meaningless buzz phrases like misogyny to make yourself look like you have the moral high ground, therefore justifying your decision to settle for a man who considers you second place to his ex-wife.
I know that that sounds super weird and more like a red flag than a green flag, but hear me out. I honestly wish that I could be friends with some of my exes or all of my exes, but that's just not the case for me. But for them, it works. And it's because there's this mutual respect. They have really healthy boundaries. And I feel completely respected, not only by her, but by him. The way that the person you are dating speaks about their ex is going to be a huge indicator of how they will one day speak about you. That's just been my personal experience anyway.
Emotional damage.
So the way the guy you're boning speaks about his ex reflects how he's going to speak about you when the relationship inevitably implodes? Then why even bother? In fact, why are you even focusing on the exes at all? I thought the past didn't matter. Isn't that the mantra you and your mindless brood of politically motivated cretins say all the time? It really shouldn't be all that surprising. You collect ex-boyfriends the same way turds collect flies. Except in the flies case, it smells a hell of a lot better. So when you do end up dating another guy, he's really not so much a relationship prospect as he is just a free therapist who buys you food. And after listening to you relentlessly imply that you want your exes back, it would probably drive him back to one of his exes just so he doesn't have to deal with you anymore. And that's got nothing to do with misogyny. It has everything to do with the fact that you are broken beyond any form of repair, sweetheart.
So I know that this is all very layered, and I don't think that it's an across-the-board thing, but I think it's a really good, quick way to figure out whether or not the person you're dating is more of a misogynist or actually likes women. And if that green flag isn't enough for you, I always like to pair it with my most popular red flag. I like asking the person that I'm dating, do they think that Jordan Peterson, Andrew Tate, or Joe Rogan make a good point? Hope that helps. Good luck finding the good ones out there. They definitely exist.
Get the rocks.
Yeah.
Abdul?
Yeah, get the rocks.
Get the rocks.
If you ever want to find out if a woman is a misandrist, just ask her about Andrew Tate. Just ask her any question about him. If she goes into some form of generalized rant about the guy without bringing up any specific things he said or done, then she's a misandrist. Even if you show her a picture of Andrew Tate, I'd say you've got about 60-40 odds she's gonna have no idea who you're talking about. Ask her about Jordan Peterson's profession. Ask her if she can spell Joe Rogan's last name. Trust me, she won't be able to. But that's just because modern feminists think spelling is patriarchy. These broads honestly think that we all have the exact same opinions on Andrew Tate, Jordan Peterson, and Joe Rogan, as if they represent us to the point where we think they're gods. Like we would all offer burnt sacrifices to them if we were capable of harnessing the power of fire for anything that wasn't evil. But self-respecting men will have different opinions on these guys depending on their own experiences. Believe it or not, woman, we're actually capable of thinking for ourselves. I know, that's a concept you're incapable of grasping. But maybe one day, if you try really, really hard, you might actually be able to start doing that for yourself. I mean, the odds aren't exactly looking good in your favor. You're a modern misandrist, but hey, stranger things have happened. I don't know what, but I'm sure they have. Before we wrap up today's video, I wanted to take a second to give a quick shout out to the Chow Time podcast. He recently featured one of my videos on his channel, so definitely go check him out. Link is in the description down below. This is a man who is truly worthy of a spot at the grown-up table of the Tuesday coffee and donut brunch of the intergalactic space god Vorgomafard. All hail! And as always, if you find that my particular brand of comedy is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button. Ring the notification bell, leave a couple of comments, and make sure to share this video so we can give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much for checking out the new video, and until next time, peace out, homies.